everybody. We are now in segment number 13 of BenS71287's birthday special with Jeopardy Deluxe Edition on the SNES.
This is Jeopardy!
It's an all-guys game. Here we go.
Here are the categories.
One daily double in one of these six categories. People. First ladies. Art. Middle East. Ballet, and finally, history. Alright. I'm going to start things off with art for 100.
The answer is
As seen in her style, American artist Mary Cassatt studied with Impressionists in this city. What is Paris? Art for 200.
the answer is
Around 1535, Michelangelo began The Last Judgment, a fresco on the wall of this room. What is the bathroom? Wrong. Okay, it's okay. Rob. The Sistine Chapel. Oh. My bad. Middle East 100.
the answer is
Alright, war broke out on September 22nd, 1980 when fighter bombs from this nation attacked 10 Iranian airfields. What is Iraq? Oh, I forgot it! They took it. Wow.
the answer is
They took it. The building of Oswald High Dam in the 1960s was financed by loans from this country. What is the USSR? Let's have Middle East 300.
the answer is
Of all the Arab countries, this one has the highest percentage of Christians, about 40%. What is Lebanon? The Middle East 400.
the answer is
This country's national airline is Alia. What is Jordan? $500.
the answer is
In 1941, Syria gained its independence from this European country. What is France? Okay, I'll try art for 300, I guess.
the answer is
American folk artists whose first paintings were copies of Courier and Ives prints. Oh, Grandma Moses. Okay. Ballet for 100.
the answer is
Frederick Ashton played one of the ugly stepsisters in this ballet he choreographed. What is Cinderella? I'd like ballet for 200.
the answer is
Suzanne Yaffe performed part of this expiring ballet, Bird Ballet, at George Bush's inaugural gala. What is Swan Lake? I'll take ballet for 300.
the answer is
The Moors Pavane is a ballet of love, death, and betrayal based on this play. What is Othello? Ballet for 400.
The answer is.
In the ballet Sylvia, this goddess of the haunt mortally wounds the villain with an arrow. Who's Diana? I'll take ballet for 500.
The answer is.
A pas poisson is a movement in which a dancer bends her body like one of these creatures. That's a fish. Alright, let me have art for
The answer is.
It's the art of carving whalebone. Rob. Scrimshaw. Hey, Tiger. Come on up. Art for 500.
The answer is.
Noted surrealist Rene Magritte was from this low country. What is Belgium? There we go, that's correct. Alright, let me have First Ladies for 100.
The answer is.
She was so popular in 1976 that some campaign buttons read, "Elect Betty's husband." Who is Gerald Ford? Or who is Betty Ford, I guess? Yeah, I had to go for the First Lady, not the President. First Lady's 200.
The answer is.
Her husband dedicated his book Six Crises to her, saying she also ran. Pat Nixon, alright. People for 100.
The answer is.
She was the Grand Marshal of the 50th and 100th Tournament of Roses parades. Who is Shirley Temple Black? Uh, 200. People.
The answer is.
Born in Martinez, California, this Yankee Clipper was a Californian long before he married Marilyn. Who's Joe DiMaggio? Let's have people for 300.
The answer is.
After leaving Eastern, this former astronaut bought an aerobatic plane he flies for fun. Who is John Glenn? No. Frank Borman, alright.
The answer is.
When this Rear Window actor graduated from Princeton, Josh Logan gave him his first acting job. Who is Jimmy Stewart? People for 500.
The answer is.
Founder of the California Missions beatified in September 1988 despite Indian protests. Junipero Serra. Alright. History for 100.
The answer is.
In the late 1400s, Torquemada was confessor to this Spanish queen before he led the Inquisition. Who is Isabella? History for 200.
The answer is.
This series of holy wars against the Muslims led to establishment of trade with the Middle East. What are the Crusades? $300.
The answer is.
When this Mongol emperor was a little boy, his father Yasuge was poisoned by Tartars. Who is Kublai Khan? The other one. Genghis Khan, yeah. Double. You're gonna go all in. Here's the clue in First Ladies. An army wife for over 30 years, she considered the Gettysburg House her first real home, and it's Mamie Eisenhower.
The answer is.
Her loyalty to the government was questioned because she was a Southerner. Mary Todd Lincoln. Alright.
The answer is.
Eleanor Roosevelt's actual first name. Oh, Anna. Alright.
The answer is.
Hitler's World War II effort to regain Antwerp. It's also fought by those who gained too many pounds. What is the Battle of the Bulge? Alright.
The answer is.
The Act of Union divided England and Wales in 1563 during his reign. Who is Henry VIII? I have 4,800, Jim is 2,200, and Rob 2,000.
Here are the categories.
Maps. Potpourri, known as POT in quotation marks. Women in history. Famous pairs. Famous quotes, and finally, Mary Had a Little Lamb.
The answer is.
When partners Bert and Irving founded this ice cream chain in 1948, they had fewer than 31 flavors. What is Baskin Robbins? Let's have famous pairs for 400.
The answer is.
He shared top billing on his TV cartoon show with the Roadrunner. Who's Bugs Bunny? I'll take famous pairs for 600.
The answer is.
With Bill Todman, he produced TV game shows such as I've Got a Street Secret and What's My Line? Who's Mark Goodson?
The answer is
Last name of tax specialists Henry and Richard. What is block? Famous pairs 1000.
The answer is
In the early 1960s, Roger Maris and the Southern New York Yankee were known as the M&M Boys. Who is Mickey Mantle? Alright. Famous quotes for 200, please.
The answer is
In Imitation of Christ, Thomas A. Kempis says, man proposes, but God does this. What is disposes? Famous quotes for 400.
The answer is
Bartlett's lists Tennis anyone just before Here's Looking at You Kid under this actor. Who's Humphrey Bogart? Famous quotes for 600.
The answer is
In 1651, George Herbert wrote, "This is the best revenge." What is living well? Famous quotes for 800.
The answer is
St. Jerome said in a letter, "No athlete is crowned but in the sweat of this." What is his brow? And famous quotes 1000.
The answer is
In the picture of Dorian Gray, this author claimed all art is quite useless. Who's Oscar Wilde? Maps for 200.
The answer is
This continental name first appeared on a map in 1507. What is America? Maps for 400.
The answer is
While the term map refers particularly to land areas, this term refers to marine maps. Chart. Oh, alright. Mary Had a Little Lamb for 200.
the answer is
According to the poem, it was against the rules for the lamb to go here. What is school? Mary Had a Little Lamb for 400.
the answer is
In the 1830s, Lowell Mason set the poem to this. What is music? Mary Had a Little Lamb for 600.
the answer is
His recitation of the poem in 1877 didn't amaze people until he played it back. Who is Thomas Edison? Mary Had a Little Lamb for 800.
the answer is
Mary is said to be Mary Sawyer from either Stirling or Sudbury in this state. Massachusetts. Alright. Women in History 200.
the answer is
For her service in this war, Pennsylvania awarded Molly Pitcher a $40 a year pension. What is the Civil War? Revolutionary War, the other one from way earlier. Women in History 400.
The answer is
Legend says Zilingshi, the wife of the Chinese Emperor Huang Di, discovered this fiber. What is silk? Let's have Women in History for 600.
the answer is
Though a lawyer herself, she fought against equal rights for working women and founded Stop ERA. Oh, Rob doesn't know. Phyllis Schlafly. Alright. Women in History 800. Took a little while to find it, but there's the Daily Double. You've heard of a 9-day wonder. Well, she was named the 9 Days Queen, and oh, Jim doesn't know. Drops all the way down to 1,000, and it's Lady Jane Grey. Women in History 1000.
the answer is
Visiting her birthplace at 10 East Oglethorpe in Savannah, Georgia won't get you a merit badge. Juliet Lowe. Alright. Maps for 600.
the answer is
Until the 1500s, maps were based on writings of this Greek geographer and astronomer. Rob doesn't know. Ptolemy.
the answer is
One dictionary politely defines it as a protruding abdominal region. What is a potbelly? Potpourri 400.
the answer is
Well, in Jeopardy, this category is similar to potpourri or hodgepodge. What is potluck? Potpourri for 600.
the answer is
A mixture of meat and veggies in a pastry crust, baked in a deep dish. What is a pot pie? You do potpourri or potpourri rather for 800.
the answer is
Another name for potassium chloride, usually used mainly to make fertilizer. What is potash? Potpourri for 1,000.
the answer is
A book below literary standards produced quickly just to make a profit. Potboiler.
the answer is
These types of fronts are indicated by triangles on weather maps. Cold fronts. Alright.
The answer is
The vertical and horizontal lines of a map's grid cross at points called these. Coordinates. And the last clue is yours, Jim. It is the other daily double. She wrote the poem, or at least its last 3 verses. He doesn't know. Down to $2,000. It was Sarah Josepha Hale. Time for Final Jeopardy, though. Alright, what's the Final Jeopardy category? Vocabulary. I'll do 600 only. Vamp is short for this word. What's vampire? Ben's gonna get $15,000.
the Final Jeopardy answer is
It is vampire. So Jim goes up to $3,000. Rob doubles his money, and I go up to 15 grand. And I will see you all for that next segment right after this.